We're in Brockenberry, July the 2nd, 1943, in Gallinger Hospital.
And I'm Teresa Brockenberry. William Brockenberry is my brother. I was also born in Washington, D.C. at D.C. General Hospital on July 6, 1953.
I'm married Lorraine Carter, who's Brockenberry now. She was born in Washington, D.C., July the 13th, 1947. And she lived in this house where we're at now, 301 Old Street. When I met her, that was in '63. They had been here prior to that time. And the mother died, and we renovated the house and kept it up ever since. She had one brother and two more sisters. She had a brother living, one sister died. She had a sister living, and it's her. Everybody in her family gone.
Wow.
I'm married. I married my first husband in 1978 and had 3 children, Miles, Terica, and Naima. And my second husband in 1998 was Larry Lee, and my second and current husband is Larry Lee. He's a native Washingtonian, grew up in Northeast in the Deanwood area.
Yeah, I have 4 boys. 3 died, 1 still living. 2 got killed in the street, 1 died on operating table.
Wow.
I went to Phillips Elementary School, which is on 26 and N, Northwest. That was the only black school that people that lived in Georgetown went in that area. It had Wormsley, which was on 34th and Prospect Avenue. And the blacks on the other side of Wisconsin Avenue went to that school. All blacks, once they finished elementary school, went to Francis, but all the blacks got put out of Georgetown because they didn't own their own houses. Mm-hmm. And we relocated down Foggy Bottom in another frame house, but they didn't have no electricity. They had hot water, no electricity. And we had coal oil lamps we had to use. And when we went down to Foggy Bottom, we went to Montgomery Elementary School, which is down on 27th and I Street, across from where the Watergate at now.
Started my educational career at Stevens Elementary, which was on 21st and L Street Northwest. I was born on 2317 I Street. Then we moved to 802 24th Street, and from there we went to 1120 New Hampshire Avenue. Then from there we went to 2142 Newport Place. I attended Stevens Elementary School, which was in that general area of those addresses, from 1st to 5th grade. I didn't go to kindergarten. 5th grade, we moved up to Upper Northwest on Allison Street, and I went to Powell Elementary from 5th to 6th. Then in 7 to 9, I went to McFarland Junior High, and then from 10 to 12, I went to Wilson High, because the line of demarcation between Wilson and Roosevelt was 14th Street. And I lived on one side of 14th Street. We were integrating Wilson High, and on the other side was Roosevelt. So I went to Wilson High from 68 to 71, then graduated in 71, and from 71 to 75, I got a scholarship to Spelman College. And then in 75, I went off and on to Atlanta University and ended up getting my master's in 1980.
Miss Waters, Gertrude Waters, and Hilda white, my 3rd and 5th grade teachers taught me how to play ball. We had a school team over Phillips Elementary, and she used to walk us because we never had nothing. Everywhere we walk from Georgetown to Banneker, up on George Avenue, practice softball and run track. We went to the 12th Street Y on 12th and off of 12th and T Street for basketball. She taught us how to hold the ball, taught us how to hold the bat, taught us how to get down for track. You know, and I learned then the basic skills and stuff. And then when I got to the playground, that was a little step up, organized this, and then we had down Bridge Montgomery. I was on the rec track team then. Sidney Parker, who was a college football player, and he was rec teacher. And we stepped up. I got interested in track. And Arthur Smith, and he was a star track team, and had Ralph Boston, who was the Olympic long jumper at the time. He won the gold medal in the Olympics. The Peter sisters, who taught us tennis over at Rose Park. They were nationally ranked. One of them had beat Althea Gibson, who played, at Wilmington. And we learned how to play tennis over Rose Park. Start on the wall and then go up to the tennis court. We were just lucky that we were competitive and got the skills. And when I got to junior high school over at Francis, the competition got a little more high than it was when I was in elementary. We didn't do too much studying in the house. We did all our studying outside because we couldn't see cold on lamp. You didn't do too much homework. You did it outside, did it down the rec, or did it in the library. But we were smart, naturally smart, Mm-hmm. It wasn't like you taught us or you drilled us at home or we had to look at the encyclopedia or stuff like that, but we just were smart. And a lot of the other families we didn't have as much as they did. So if they betted on a family that wasn't going to make it, it would have been ours. Because we were such a large family. Some of us mischievous and stuff, but they just figured that we wasn't going to make it. So we tricked them. And we had to go to the school in your area when I left Francis. Being I lived in Foggy Bottom, I had to go to the school in my neighborhood, which was Weston. They had just integrated. And when I went up to Weston, they were still prejudiced. They had all the white prejudiced teachers still up there. And so, mind you, we had just won the championship in track and basketball. And I was one of the stars in both sports, and they refused to let us play. So when I went out for JV, because the neighborhood boys that was playing up there, varsity, said, you got to go out for JV, you can't go out for varsity because you was a 10th grader. They took me down Franklin School, which was on 13th Street, 30th and K. That's the only way you could transfer out. So I was bad, and she took me down there. So the assistant superintendent of schools asked me, what school you want to go to? I said, any school, because I didn't know nothing about no schools. I said, any school. She said, my brother is the assistant principal at Easton. Can you make it from where you live to Easton? So back then the streetcar was running. And I said, streetcar running right up there on DuPont Circle. I could walk up there and catch a streetcar, and it runs to 15th East Capitol Street, which is 2 blocks from Easton. So she transferred me from Weston to Easton. We had about 8 boys in the whole class, and so we formed a basketball team, intramurals. The coach that was in the gym, he looked at me and said, come here. He stopped the game, and they had to leave. So he asked me, he said, you play football? I said, yes, sir. He said, where you played? I said, well, I played for number 13 Boys Club. I played rec ball. And I went out for Western team, defensive back, running back. and I got cut. He said, "What you get cut for?" I said, "Cause I tackled a white boy and broke his leg, and the coach told me to give me a uniform that they didn't play that kind of football." So he gave me a note. Said, "Go downstairs and give the football coach this note. And one thing you have to worry about over here is that we play that kind of football over here. You know, more legs you break, we happen to don't know what which." So the first year over Easter, we won the championship, but we went up to Griffin Stadium before they built the new stadium and lost to Gonzaga 7-6. The second year, we won the city championship. They got a plaque over there. And we won the city championship. I made all met. First team, I made all met. Then in basketball we played, and that was my best sport. So they didn't know that I had played 5 sports. I learned them when I was coming up through elementary. Basketball, football, baseball, ran track and swim, and then played tennis. So we won all the championships and everything, and I was a star over there in all the sports at Easter. And so, quite natural, the kids down in Rocky Bottom, now they don't understand how you don't make the team at Western and go over there at Eastern and be a star. And I told him, I said I was a star at Western, but the man didn't give me a chance to be no star. He even came over Eastern and told our coach that I was out the zone. He tried to get me back at Western, told the coach, say, "You have an illegal player on your team." So the coach got us all around the circle. He said, "Now pick him out." He came straight to me. Mr. Brockenberry is illegal. He lived in Georgetown, which is Western Zone. And the coach told him, "Say, I'm going to tell you this one time, and then I'm going to blow you off the premises." He said, "Mr. Brockenberry went to Franklin School, got transferred by the assistant superintendent of schools, and y'all didn't want him at first. We got him. You had something and didn't know it because y'all was so prejudiced of it because these 2 white men talking with each other." He said, "My boys ain't no better than your boys up there." He said, "They eat out the same Giant and Safeway, and they drink the same spigot water." He said, "Now, don't never come over here talking about nothing about our team, and we happened to scrimmage them. They had a scrimmage, but they called it off."
Sister Moon,